Hi everyone, welcome to Live with Janome. I'm Anne Hein, Embroidery Software Specialist for Janome America, and I'm just getting a few things ready behind the scenes. So if you hang on for a moment, we'll get started. I'm getting my comments up as we go here, so that'll be all ready. Let me see here, there we go. If you're there, give a good hello. And I'm going to turn on, let's see, get this. Hello. Ooh. And I'm going to let's turn off my volume. There we go. All right. Now, hopefully everybody can hear me, though I think, oh yeah, everything's on. All right, hang on one second. We'll put the camera on. Just having a few little things today. I don't know why this is happening. Put that down. Here we are. Oh my goodness, hang on. I'm getting there. Let's turn that off. There we are. Oh my goodness. Whew. All of a sudden, I had an update at the last minute here on my software. Let me get this camera up a little better. There we go. Get a better picture there. All right. Ooh, and I have my little, let me get it this way. I have my little butterfly on. Woohoo. If you're, these are going to be in an event that Janome has coming up, so that'll be kind of fun. And let me see who I have out there. We have quite a few people out there. Let me see how my comments are doing here. There we go. Oh, good. Thank you, Marty, that the sound is fine. For some reason, my iPad was doing crazy stuff too. So today we're talking about Cutwork, and I'm not sure how many of you have done Cutwork before, but Janome has some designs that are ready to go, and they're in our machines. Some of them are in our machines, and there's some that you can download off of our global site. So you can go to Janome Global. So it's I usually do Janome Global on the search, and then it comes up and it says like software updates. I'll pick that one, and that'll take me to the little area, and I'll see the CM17. And under there are your Cutwork designs that you can download. There's a whole booklet on how to do the Cutwork designs. Now, they have it set up there with the Cutwork designs using the Cutwork needles. So let me show you. I have those here, and I'm going to use them, but I'll hold them up here. They come in a little package like this. This is what they look like. And they, at the very bottom of them, instead of a hole for your thread, they have a little blade. So they cut your fabric. And in the Artistic Digitizer software, you can create your own Cutwork. So that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to show you a couple things that I've created and how I create it, and then we'll go from there. So let me hold up this one here. I just have little samples today. So I'm going to hold up my first one first because that's the messy one. Let's see, I think it's this way. That might be the back. Here we go. So I decided I wanted to make these open type Cutwork, like this with the little bars in there. See how that little thread bar is? So I started playing around and figuring out how to do it. And I have a couple of designs where I have a combination of using scissors and using the Cutwork blades. So if you don't have the Cutwork blades, there are ways to do it yourself without the blades. The blades just make it easier, and sometimes you can get a cleaner cut. Now this one isn't as clean as I'd like across the top, but I didn't do this one on a wash away stabilizer. I did this on my cutaway or my tear away because I'm saving. I don't have that much of the wash away right now, so I'm in between. So I'm waiting for more of that to come. So I don't want to use it up. So I was using my samples. I was just using my tear away to get my shape, how I want to do it, and kind of the start of it. And then I have one going over here. In fact, I have two going that I'm going to show you. So let's go over there first, and we'll do the part at the machine so I can show you what Cutwork is in case you don't know. And I do have my comments, so if you have questions, put comment up there and I'll keep checking, though my back will be turned to those. So I'm going to go put my camera on and see what happens here. Let's see. There we go. Now I do have the light turned off on my machine because I think you get a better look at it, because when you have your light on, it really glares. So I have two shapes in there, and these are those like little orange slices. These are my Cutwork blades. I need my screwdriver, and this will hold my little Cutwork needles as I put them in, so it makes it a little bit easier. Now on a Janome, we have kind of I would say a luxury thing. When you do a Cutwork design, it comes up with, it'll show you on the screen where your colors are, where you put in your Cutwork needles. Now, in prior time, before we had this part of it, it would just show, it would say black, red, blue, or green without a color number. And that meant what needle to put in, because all of these are color coded. You can see that. So on the screen of my machine, I'm going to roll over here so you can see it. So on the screen of my machine, it says, change to Cutwork needle. After changing the needle, press the OK key. So I'm going to come back over here, and it has put my foot down for me. Everything's ready to go. It's locked my machine. I can unscrew the needle here. And typically when I start my ruler work, I'm doing that too. My cut work, I will cut my top thread just so it doesn't, you can pull it to the side, but it just gets, it's a pain. So I just move it out of the way. And once the first blade is black, the first needle. So I call them, sometimes I say blade, sometimes I say needle. Let's see here, the little container's giving me, there we go. All right, and typically I put them all in like a little cup, so I don't have to keep opening the container and sliding them in there. I have a little cup set down in there. So here's my first one, and I'm going to put it in here. It has a flat back just like my needles, and what's nice is when you use the holder, and I believe this holder comes with it, you can only put it in here one way because the holder is flat to one side and rounded on the other, if you can see in there. So I'm just going to stick my Cutwork blade in there, and it fits right in. See how nice that is? And then I could just stick it right under here, and I have to kind of get it under there. There we go. And I'm going to tighten up there and take that off. Now it's ready to go. And what it's going to do is, there are 4 different needles, and they cut a different angle. So this is going to cut around here in different spots until all of this is done. I have a second one back here. This is the one I'm going to show you how I do it with scissors. I've created this this stitch line outline, and I'm going to show you that afterwards. So here we go. So we're going to do the black one. Hi, Celine. Now, our older machines, they don't have the thing on the screen where it shows the actual blade. Our newer machines do have that. So let me undo that one. Now it's asking for the blue. So I'm going to take the blue one and my little holder. Now, I didn't always use the holder, but the other day I had it out and I was like, oh, you know what? This really does make it easier. We do have one of these that will hold your sewing machine needles too. So you can take a look for that. Here we go, turn that off. And then here it goes with the next one. So each of the needles is a different angle. All right, so it's asking for the red one. So I'm going to get the red one ready to go. Here we go, undo this one. That one was blue. Here we go. All right, we are almost done. I have one color left. I'm going to put this one in, take this one out, do the hokey pokey. There we go. Put that up in there. And I'm going to show you before I start it sewing. Let's get this up here. I'm going to touch OK here. See on the screen right here, that little is actually the sewing blade, the cutting blade right there. It's showing it on the screen right here. So that's something new we had. I think it started early on, maybe a little bit with the 15, and then we have it with our CM17. So here we go with the red one, or green one, I'm sorry. This is the green one, last one. And then I would put my needle in and let it do the rest of it, which I think I'm going to do. All right. And it says, at this point, it tells you everything to do. Remove your fabric, and then it's going to have you. So I'm going to lift this away so you can see. Now, sometimes I have little, what I do with my fabric ahead of time is I will starch my fabric and then make sure, or use Terreal Magic. When I'm out of Terreal Magic, I will use starch. Sometimes you can use Best Press as well, but I think starch gives you a little bit firmer look. And then I think I want to just trim a little extra here because that's where I had the little issue earlier. I have to adjust my cut line. I think that's where I had that little spot up there. All right, so there's that. It says remove the fabric. I did that. It says change to a sewing needle. Okay, I'll do that too. And then I have to thread my machine, and then it'll do the next part. Now, before I do the next part, what I would do is I'm going to cover this with a piece of wash away stabilizer. It just supports your stitches a little bit more. And something I learned from my very first time doing cut work, when I made a giant heart and cut it away and then just let it stitch across there without anything, which was like, whew, scary, but you know, prayer was good that day. All right, so that's ready. And let me cut a piece of stabilizer for there. Hold on. Have a piece over here on the side. And I'm just going to lay it here. And I have one stitch stop on, and that's one of the things I like to use when I'm doing this, because I want my back part to look just as nice as the front. So I will go ahead and put one stitch stop on, so at least the top thread, I'll pull it up at the beginning. There we go. Let me get that out of the way. Anytime you want the back to look as nice, you can turn on one stitch stop, or you can, turn your jump thread cutter off so that then you just have to trim everything yourself. But I just find it easier for this procedure to do one stitch stop off. Oops, hang on. My iPad just fell over. There we go. All right, let's see what's happening out there. There we go. All right, so now it's going to do the outside part, and I'm going to trim these back threads. Once it does that, I'm going to show you on the other one how I handle the with scissors, how I do it with scissors. So if you don't have the Cutwork needles, you can always use scissors. That's what we used to do way back when we didn't have them. We would use scissors. All right, so this last part, there's two parts. One stitch stop again. Oh, it didn't come up. There's that little thread. There we go. All right, here we are here. So this is putting the satin stitches over those bars. So I made some straight stitches in there first to support it. And then I'm doing a satin stitch over them. Next one. There we go. do one more of these, and then all that's left is the outline, or the outer stitches, which are the satin stitches to finish it. Get my finger up there. All right, so now it's at the start of those satin stitches. And I'm not going to have him do those satin stitches right now because I want to show you the other part over here. So this one here, I didn't put a cut command in because I wanted to show you if you were using scissors, how you would do that. And I use my little snips like this, and I can actually cut right through the stabilizer at this point because it's the inside, and then I can put more stabilizer down. If I could try to cut just the fabric out if I wanted and not cut my stabilizer, and sometimes I do it that way. It just depends on how I get started here. I just need to get a little spot, and then I can. So I'll leave the stabilizer to show you what that looks like, but then you want to trim close here, and you want to be careful when you're doing this that you don't pop it out of the hoop. I'm supporting it underneath with my fingers, and these little snips are pretty good. They're pretty sharp. There we go. There we go. Just like that. So I can leave it for this one. Sometimes I'll cut through it, like I had the tearaway in there before and I just cut it through. But now since I have some here, I can just leave it and do my top stitching on top of that. But you do want to trim close to these stitches like that. Get it as close as you can. So it's one of those things, the Cutwork needles are great. So this is, like 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, as they say. So I would get this all cut out. So it would be like this one, and then I would just finish it like that. Before we move away from here, I want to show you what I'm working on and some options with this so we can talk about this. And this one I'm doing, I have like a gray thread in there. So on this one, I have a couple things going on here. These circles are going to be open, and they're going to have some little threads in them. And then this is just a little, it looks like an eyelet. I'm going to hold it. Oh, there we go. This is good. It looks like an eyelet, but this is actually a letter that I, from one of the alphabets that I took and brought in here to get my little eyelet to put around there. Now, I don't have the satin stitch started around the outside because I want to trim my outer fabric. I don't want to use my cutting blades here, my cutting needles, because it would cut right through the stabilizer. So I am going to cut away this with my scissors right up close to that stitching. I'm going to let my Cutwork blades cut out the centers here for me, and then I'll just cover them with a little bit of stable wash away and let it do its final stitching on top of there. So I'll have a cute little, like a doily type thing. Now, the other one I was trying, and this one is my conundrum, I wanted to leave this spot here open. So if I cut it with scissors, I can definitely do that and then put those connecting bars in here. But if I used my Cutwork blades, it's going to cut on this side and it's going to cut this side. So all of this will come away. This will be loose. So this would be one where I use my scissors to cut all this away before I added those blades, the Cutwork, not the Cutwork, the little threads here to hold that together like I am with my other one, like this. So those will go across there like that. Now I could have joined this here with fabric and just had maybe a little loop here. There's a lot of things you can do. I just wanted to try some different things, but this is my next one up. I wanted to get it this far and show you. Next up, I would just be doing the Cutwork blades in here to get all that done, and then it would do the finishing stitches. Then I would go back and trim this and do the satin stitch all the way around there. All right, let's go back over to the software and I can show you a little bit how I work with it in there so that you guys can create on your own. Let me get set up here. There we go. You're also quiet with no questions today. Let's see if everything's working. All right, here we go. My iPad just doesn't want to stand up today. It's tired. Okay. All right, so hopefully, let me see what's happening here. Oh, it is working. Okay. I feel like my video wasn't working there for a minute, but I think it is. But I think my iPad is at a different time period. All right, so let's switch to the software. And here we go. And let me get the camera up for that. Hold on. Open the software. There we go. I want to make sure we have camera on this side. There we are. All right, so let's go to software and I'll show you how I created these pieces. And I'm going to go to my browser first, and I have my USB stick. I was working in my PC, and then I came over here because this is the one I demo on. And there, let's try that. Oh, here we go. All right, so the little ones we were working on, I'm going to bring up. Where are my little half guys? And they're not in this one. All right, well, we'll recreate them. That's so weird. They're not in there. Okay, well, we'll just make a new one. All right, so what I did is I created that little half slice, and I'm going to move in here close so we can see. I went to my digitize outline shape tool. I did shift and left click, and then I took the shift off to get the curve like this, and then at the corner shift and click, and then I came across straight this way to make that wedge like that. Select it. I don't need the inside, so I'm going to delete that. And then what I did, one of the things I did too is I used design properties. So if you go under your file, design properties, in here you can type in about your design. So once I figured out the parameters that I was using, I put it in the file so I would have that. So and then you can print it out if you want, just like you're, and it'll be on the bottom of your design. So there's the first part of my design. And what I want to do is, the first thing I like to do is make those stitch lines that are inside. Remember that went around like 4 or 5 times. To do that, with it selected, I went up here to convert, auto border, and I'm going to go to the inside. And I want it to be probably like 0.02 away. And I'm going to repeat it 4 times in a running stitch. I don't need to remove holes. All right, and then I'm going to hit OK. And now it made, these are my base stitches. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, I have 5 base stitches there. So that's going to be the first part of my design. And then the inner one right here, this one right here, I'm going to select just that one and change it to a new color. So we're going to make that one gold. And that will be the cut line. So if I was making, if I was going to just use scissors, I wouldn't have to do the cut command here. I would just remember after the stitches, that's where I would cut my fabric away. But I do like to make it a different color because when I do my sequence, I'll show you how you have to move it in your sequence window. It's all about the order. So in properties, under outline, there's Cutwork right here. I apply it, and when you go to slow redraw, it actually shows just as black. So this is where it would cut, just like that. There we go. And if I look in my sequence window, this is the right order. I want to stitch this part first, and then I can stitch this part. Now in Cutwork, you can apply a running stitch before, you can have a running stitch after, you can add your satin serial here. All of that can be done here. But because I'm doing these layers, I don't want to do it that way. I want to separate it out. It's almost like doing manual applique. We can use our applique tab, but sometimes we like to do the manual part of it. And I'm going to get my Facebook back up because I think I lost the page. There we go. All right, am I back on? Let's see what's going on here. Try one more time. I'm not sure what's happening. I usually have really good signal. Today, not so much. Let's see what's going on. All right. I think I'm back. Does everybody have me back? Trying to see if it's back on. I don't know. Oh, there we go. Okay. All right. So I have those two there. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add those bars that I like to put in there. You can do your bars any way you like. I take my digitized outline shape tool, and what I like to do is hit shift, and let's just say this is the middle. Usually I have my grid on, and I'm just going to make my lines go back and forth here. Like so. These are those base stitches. They're underneath, they're like an underlay. And usually I do 3 or 4 in one spot. So there's 3 at the top and 3 down there. So now I can right click and shape. And then I can do edit nodes because I might want to pull them a little bit closer. So I can click on these and slide them over just slightly so they're closer together. You want them kind of close. There we go. This is like the landing strip for the rest of those posts. There we go. And then once I have those ready, I'm going to change the color. Always change colors as you go because then you have everything going in the right order or the right colors. You can find it. You can combine stuff. You can make everything the same color later, but it's easier, I think, to keep everything separate. Now that I have that, I'm going to select it. I'm going to copy and paste. I'm going to rotate it 35 degrees. And then I'm going to drag this one over here and put it right up there. And then since I have that one, I'm going to copy paste it. I'm going to mirror it and move it over here. Now, what I don't want are the ones that hang out at the top. I don't really want them hanging out. So I'm just going to bring them back a little bit. Come down here, bring these back just a little bit. They just have to be on that green part. That way this the satin stitch at the end will cover them up. And then move that one in just a little bit. Okay. All right, now that I have that, I want to make the satin cover for on top of it. So I am going to come in here. I'm going to do another outline shape. I'm just going to shift, left click, right click, and shape. I'm going to take that one and make it a different color. So we had pink. Let's make this, let's go to purple down, or blue. There we go. So that line is blue. I'm going to go to properties. Let me get this from going away. I'm going to go into properties. I'm going to make it a satin serial. And then I find I like 1.25 mm. Even though I'm in inches, I can go to metric and enter. So that, let me see what we've got. Oops. Make sure you turn your tool off. All right, so I want to look here. My stitches underneath need to be closer, or I need to make my outer stitch wider. So let me see if we go a little bit wider. Let me try let's try 2.0. That might be a little bit wide. Oh, there we go. And then I can always, let's move this off for just a second. I can always go back to this pink one and move my nodes closer together so it's narrower. Because they can be right close together. They're just support stitches. So we can let's put them closer together. There we go. We could take this guy and move it back like so. There we are. And maybe I can move back down to 1 point. Maybe I'll try 1.75. I like that one to be kind of narrow if I can. Whoops. You have to put in mm or you get inches when you're in inches. There we go. Okay. And then of course, you know, I would just copy paste this and rotate it and move it to the sides here. And I'm going to move these in. Like that. So these would all be in. All right. So this guy here, I would select it, copy paste, rotate 35, and then just bring it over on top of this one. I would copy paste that one and mirror image it and then bring it over here. And if it's too long, you can just shorten it up. Now, when I was doing this before, I actually have my grid on and I was really measuring using the grid to help get the spacing in here just where I wanted it. So, and there's a pink one hanging out, but that's okay. Now I'm going to do that outer satin stitch, and I can grab the outer green one right here or the next one in, and I tend to like this one here, the second one in. I'm going to copy paste that one and change it to a new color. And we'll make that this nice bright green here. And then in properties, I'm going to go to satin serial and I'm going to make, oh, I got to change my underlays too. And I need to make this probably 2.5 mm or wider. And I could go a little bit wider. You can see a little of that tan stitch right there. You see that stitch right there? I want to cover that, so I can make this just a little bit bigger, maybe 2.75 mm just to cover it. There we go. And some of that will be cut away too. So that's your cut line. So it may go away on there. So I have all of that done now, but I do want to change the underlay under my satin stitches. So here I'll go to underlay and I like this double zigzag. And then for the blue ones in here, let's go back and open this up and get these blue ones. I can go to underlay and double zigzag. So let's see what that looks like in slow redraw. So it's going to do the outer part. There's the rows around. Then it's doing the cut, or I'd use my scissors right now and cut that away. Those support stitches, there's that double zigzag underneath. And then I have it again on the outside. So that's not too bad, right? Pretty easy. All right, so let me show you. I'm going to go back to my browser and show you the one I'm working on right now is this one right here. I think it's the orange one, but there we go. So this one is almost done. I don't have the satin stitches on my little pieces there, but I think I do on the other one. Let me pull the other one in really quick. Nope, that doesn't have anything. So I've left them off there. So here I just have the first set of those stitches. I need to go back and I just put them there for a visual. So I would go back and put in the base, those support stitches underneath here. And then I would create one more line again and use that for my satin stitch. So I would have that. This little piece, as I said, it came from one of the fonts. So I'm going to just click in here, text, And what I did is I went through the fonts, probably something like this, that's nice and chunky. And then I typed the letter O. That's a really big one, but that's okay. Let's get back out of here. See how that, well, that's kind of an, not really round, it's got a little bit parts to it. But what I did is I took that, I deleted the outline because I don't need the outline. So in the colors here, I deleted it. And then I just shrunk it down till I had it where I wanted. Now that's a really round one, so I probably would go back and look at a different font. And let's see what else. Maybe this one. One of these ones has nice round. Maybe just, oh, that's not one. So you have to find the one that's nice and round. I'm not sure which one I used. I think maybe it was, could be this one. That's a little bit off. But anyway, see how you can use letters instead of creating a circle with that to get your nice little, it looks like an eyelet. Let's leave this one off the center. So it looks like a little bit of an eyelet. To get these perfectly around, I selected one of them, and I'm actually going to change, I'm going to copy paste it just so we can, I can show you this. And let me change the color so we can work with it. And then I went to my array tool, circular array. Make sure this goes into the center. Up here under your preset, you can do full circle and change your step count to 8 and enter or return. And then you just, let me get in close. You can just move your pieces when you select them. Let me get on that one. Here we go. Why is it not letting me? There we go. You can slide these out and then, so you're going to put one here and this one will go back over this way like that. You align them where you want. Let's get this one. You have 2 lines to work with. There's a green line, which looks like blue right now, and a red line. And those are where your start and stop is. So once you have it where you want it, you apply, and then you have your perfectly placed pieces. To do that, my curved outline, if you're looking for that part of it, I created a circle shape, and I'm going to do that off to the side here just to get it like that. I selected it. I removed the outline because I don't want the outline. I just want the fill. And again, I went to my array, circular array. Let's go back to the center here where it's at. Or actually, we can pull it off to the side so you guys don't have to look at that part. And then we could just pull this down in here till they come together. See how they're coming together? They're on top of each other. And when you have them where you want them as far as this curve, apply it. While it's selected, go to shaping and weld. Now you have a whole outside part. You can do your convert auto border to the outside, make it 1, because you only need 1, and your distance could be 0. You want to remove holes so it doesn't go inside, and select OK. And let's pull that off so you can see it. There we go. So that's how I get that base design. Or you can find one and convert it. It's very easy on that part of it. All right, so let's go back. I'm going to put the camera back on and see if there's any questions happening. Let's see here. There we go. All right, so what do you guys think of that? So now you can do your Cutwork 2 ways. You can use your Cutwork needles if you have them, or you can use your scissors and cut things. Now, the ones for Janome, when they have a Cutwork design, typically if you buy one that says Cutwork, there'll be instructions on where their cut lines are, so you'll know what color to cut with. Now, with the Janome ones, when you take those into your CM17, it already assigns the Cutwork blade to those, a Cutwork needle. So once you see that first one come up, you kind of know where the shape is, where you're going to be cutting it. And so you can cut that out. Or you can bring it into your software. I don't know if I have one. Let me see if I have one in my software here in my browser. Did I bring it over? I had that little butterfly over here before, but there is a butterfly, and you can see the yeah, I don't have my Cutwork design in here at the moment. My other one, it must be in my laptop. There we go. So when you look at those other Cutwork ones, you'll see those red, black, green, and blue lines in the design a little bit. That's where the cut part's going to take place. So you just have to remember to either cut those out there. Or if you don't want to cut those Cutwork designs and you really like how they stitch them out without opening them up. But they're easy to open up. All right, any questions? Are we okay with this part of it? I apologize for that little signal loss in the middle. I'm not sure what's happening. I'm trying to stream to YouTube at the same time, and sometimes YouTube is finicky and it doesn't always like me. I don't know why. I like YouTube. And I'm just checking to see if we have no questions at all. So I challenge you to try to make some of these open type stitches. And let me get my better sample up. I'm not sure where I left it. Picked it up, put it down, 6 places. Here's my sample. One of the things I was doing earlier, I don't know if I saved it. Oh, here it is, this part here. But so here's that good one, the better one. So sometimes what I'll do is I'll create one, and this is where I've cut away the outside of this one, and then I tried different shapes in there, and I was playing around with different widths and different where I was putting the cutting to see how it goes. Instead of making a complete design, take parts of your design out and cut them and try them out. Maybe use your little hoop, like I was doing these little wedges. These were my little samples that I was playing around with to get it just the way I wanted it. What size width of that zigzag that fits on these bars right here, how far apart I wanted those bars, what I wanted for my outside. So play around with all of that. These were done with a thinner thread from Wonderfill, their Deco Bob. So I had Deco Bob in the bobbin and the top, which I really like, but I don't have a lot of colors in that. I only have like gray and tan. But I thought these were coming out nice. And then on the machine I was showing you, I was using, let me take that off. This is just embroidery thread, and then you can see the back here. There we go. All right, check for questions. I guess we're all good. All right, everyone, I'm going to let you go. Check with us next. Well, we still have one more live this week on Friday over on the Continental Club page. Go check out what's happening over there. Next week, I'll be back on Thursday again, doing something fun, and we'll see you all then. Thank you all for joining me. Have a great day.